Okay, hello and welcome back everybody. In this video tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at Activity 5.2b Miniature Train. And in this particular case, we're going to be taking a look at axle peg and how to create axle peg. This one is going to be a little bit tricky. It does use revolve. We're using things like spherical radius, polygons, threading. It is a little bit tricky. But if we take a look and follow along with this, we shouldn't have any sort of issues. So let's go ahead, let's get started. Let's go up and let's begin a standard inch IPT. And let's go ahead and let's start a sketch on any plane. So we take a look at this. We're going to be drawing a line starting from the origin, and we're going to take that line straight up. Okay, so if we take a look at the bottom half of the bolt, it's going to be indicating to us on the threading that this is a 1/4 UNC, and it's going to be 1 inch in length. That's what the bottom part's going to be. But if we look at the top of the bolt, we'll see it gives us a dimension of 0.125. So our total dimension on this one is going to be 1 plus 0.125, which would be 1.125. So let's go ahead and let's add that dimension in of 1.125. Okay, and with that said and done, let's go up here now and let's draw a line starting from the top. And let's just take that totally horizontal. And let's go ahead and dimension that one. And so we can see here at the top, there's a circle that's being indicated that has a diameter of 0.25. So we're going to go half of that, which would be 0.25 divided by 2, which would give us a 0.125 line there at the top. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and work our way back down to the bottom. We're going to start a line starting from the bottom. We're going to take that and send it horizontal. And now we're going to come out here and we're going to dimension that. So since we know that this is a 1/4 UNC bolt, that means that the bottom of this is going to have to be 0.25. So let's go ahead and let's put in that dimension of 0.25. Yeah, I just realized I made a mistake with this. This is not 0.25. That would be half of a quarter. So that would be 0.25 divided by 2, which would be 0.125. So there we go. We got that right now. That needs to be half the profile, so that's why I had to change that from a quarter to half of it, which is 0.125. Okay, so with that being said and done, we're now going to draw a line starting here from this endpoint, and we're going to be going up our distance, which in this case is going to be 1. And now let's go ahead and let's take a look at the dimensions a little bit more. It says that the diameter of the very outside of the cap of this bolt is going to be 0.422. So what we have to do is we basically have to come up here and use offset. Okay, when we go to use offset, more than likely what's going to be happening is it's going to be showing how it's wanting to offset everything. And if I were to do this, it's going to be the entire set. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and escape out of that because I just want to do one single entity in order to do this. So when I come to offset, before I click on anything, I'm going to right click. I'm going to come down here and find loop select. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck loop select. Now I'm going to pick on this line. I'm going to right click and I'm going to pick on continue. Now I can go ahead and continue pulling this line out. Now it does give us a dimension box that we can go ahead and apply to this offset. So that would be half of 0.422. So if I type in 0.42, excuse me, divided by 2, 0.422 divided by 2, that's going to be putting it out there at 0.211. That's important to know because what we're going to have to do now is we need to draw a line from here, okay, and I need to take it out to that line that I've just established. I'm now going to go ahead and trim that line out because now I need to come up here and add a dimension to this short little piece of line here, okay, and that dimension needs to be 0.031. So I'm going to go ahead and dimension that and be 0.031. Okay, and that's just going to give us this little bit of a line right here. Okay, in order to finish this profile up, I'm now going to come up here and go to arc. I'm going to pick on this endpoint, and I need to pick on this endpoint. And now I can establish what that spherical radius is, which is 0.236. So I can go ahead and put in 0.236. Okay, I can go ahead and finish that up. I can see that my sketch is fully constrained, so I'm going to go ahead and finish the sketch. Okay, and so now that that sketch has been fully done, now we can go ahead and do a revolve. And you're going to see that it is it's pointing out the profile to us. So all we have to do is come in here to our axis and pick on the axis, do a full 360, and we can say OK. Okay, and we're almost, we're getting a little bit closer. So now we need to start a 2D sketch. We need to pick on the top. And now in this case, we're going to be coming over, going underneath rectangle and finding polygon. Okay, we'll see if there's two different options for polygon. When we take a look at the dimensions, it's going to say that this is a hex socket head, 5/32 across the flats and 0.111 deep. So if this is across the flats, okay, I do believe it's going to be this option here, which is going to be an inscribe. And that's a hex, so it's going to be a 6-side. So we're going to go ahead and pick this, and we're going to pull this up. Okay, and now we can go ahead and dimension this. So it's across the flats, which means it's going to go from this flat edge to this flat edge. Okay, and that distance needs to be 5/32. So 5/32. Okay, we're going to go ahead and establish that hexagon. Now we're going to go ahead and finish the sketch. We're going to do an extrude. Okay, and this needs to be a cut, and the distance that this needs to be is 0.111. And we're going to go ahead and say OK on that. So we've established that hex cut head. Now what we have to work on is going out there and establish threading on this. So threading can get a little bit interesting because this is indicating that this is a 1/4 inch offset, which means that the threading is not going to go the entire way up the bolt. It's actually going to be offset from the top of the bolt down 1/4 inch before it starts its threading. So let's go ahead, let's give this a shot. So what you're going to have to do is come up here, pick on threading, and you're going to come in here and pick on the face. Now I think when we pick on the face, we have to pick at the top because we need to do the offset. So right now it's saying that the thread length is a full length, okay, but we have to come in here and establish our offset, which is 0.25. But since this is indicating that it's going the opposite way, it means I picked the wrong side. So let's go ahead, let's try this again. We'll say thread, we'll pick the bottom of this to start it, okay, and now we're going to come in here and go to offset and put in 0.25. It's still not liking it. Let's try it again. Okay, let's go to thread, and we're going to pick from the bottom. Full length is not what we want. We want to do our offset, 0.25. Let's try it again, starting from the top. Offset, 0.25. There, we got it. So the offset is 0.25. So when you go to put in your threading, you have to make sure to start from the top. And you might have to kind of orient this a little bit differently with your orbit in order to get it. So that's going to go a total length then of 1. So we say OK on that. All right, so in order to finish all this up, we can see that there is a 45-degree chamfer at 0.03 at the bottom of this. So we're going to come up here to chamfer, change our distance from 0.125 to 0.03, and we're going to go ahead and apply this to the bottom, okay, of our bolt, and we're going to say OK. All right, last thing we need to do is come up here and switch this over to ABS plastic. Since we want this to shine a little bit, let's go over here, also do an override, and let's make this look like chrome. It's going to be chrome polished. And that's it. That's the end of AxlePeg for Activity 5.2b Miniature Train.